go. Hello, everyone. Today we have a crazy edition with Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming right around the corner. We have the person that probably spends the most amount of money that I know on this day specifically. So since we're co-hosting it, I'm not going to give him an introduction. He can give him his own dang introduction. But today we have Eddie Maalouf with us.
What up? Super
How
hyped
you
to be
doing, my
here,
man?
bro. I'm awesome, man. How about you?
Doing good.
Excited to chat today.
Yeah, I mean it's a super prevalent topic. I know that there's gonna be a lot of people in here that are agency owners trying to get the best creatives for their clients, but we're also probably gonna have some drop shippers in here. We're gonna have some e-com stars, and so we're gonna try and give them the best information that we can about creatives. So, guys, today is going to be a little bit more interactive because we want to answer the questions that you guys have. We don't want to just spurt information at you. So we are going to take your questions. I'll have my own questions. Eddie will have his own things that he wants to kind of mention. But the main idea is that you guys are going to kind of guide this interview into which way you want to take it. So as you have your questions, I will drop those on the screen. But Eddie, give us a little introduction of yourself, who you are, what you have going on.
My name is Eddie Maalouf. I run Bad Marketing with my co-founder Ashton Shanks, and we basically run a ton of direct-to-consumer and info products. We do about $1 billion a year in revenue across the board. Have over 160 employees. Pretty badass setup. Some of the most savage marketers in the world on our team. And we spend a ton on paid ads as well as content. So we make content for some huge brands. You probably know ClickFunnels. We did all their content for their ads, Snow Teeth Whitening, and like tons and tons more. You can find that on our website, but not going to get too much into that list. I'm ready to jump into some game here for the people in the chat. You want me to start banging out these questions? I got a good one from Eric here. I think it's a good one to kick us off.
Yeah, I saw that one from Eric. As kind of an intro, one of the things that that would be kind of important for people to know is kind of like the different levels, or kind of like a quick intro to creatives, of like different levels of creatives and what that actually means.
What do you mean by different levels of creatives?
So like there's like the UGC, different things like that. There's the high production stuff that you guys do. Maybe like an intro of like when it's important to do each of those.
Yeah, so I think the high production stuff is not necessary for people that are running their own stores, that are doing their own drop shipping type stuff. I don't think that's something that is even that important. When you get big and you really care about brand and how you look, that's when it's important. I'll give you an example. There's a brand we work with that's decent sized, does a few million a year. Pretty much everything we did was like scripted and shot on an iPhone or like on a regular local camera and edited. And then when they were like, hey, we're trying to expand, we're trying to spend millions of dollars a month on ads, that's when we had enough budget to basically go and start spending it on like high production stuff, hiring actors, getting sets, stuff like that. So rule of thumb that I tell everyone is I would take like 5 to 10% of your total ad spend, and that's what I would be allocating towards like actually making more creatives. If you think about it this way, like if for 5 to 10% of my total ad spend, let's say I spend $100,000 a month in ads to keep it easy. Okay. If I take 5 to 10% of that, let's say $10,000 a month, and put that towards making like really sick creative, whether that's UGC, user generated content, getting people to like film testimonials using the product or using it via influencers, etc. Whether that's me scripting ads, whether that's just really sick product shots of the product being used in different environments, whatever it is, that 10% that you're going to spend is going to give you like a 50 to 100% lift, sometimes a lot more across the board on your ad spend. And so the problem I see a lot of people doing is like they want to spend more on ads, but they don't want to spend more effort and money into actually making more creatives, which is really how you make more in ads, right? So I think that's kind of a super important outlook. I'd say like the most basic creatives are like graphics. Anyone can do those. You can just take a product rendering, throw it on Canva, do some cool shit with it, make some GIFs. I think those are probably the lowest level. Then you have like UGC content, probably level 2. That's giving your product to influencers or just actors in general to be able to kind of make a video for you. I would recommend sites like Billo, for example, Billo. easy one. You can send the product, they'll put it in people's hands, and they'll send you videos back. That's just like the mainstream one. I have a lot more that I could recommend if people want to just DM me on Instagram or something. I can send out to other people that I personally know. But that's like level 2. And my advice there is don't pay people who have like big Instagram followings, just because they're going to charge you based on their following, not based on the video.
Yeah.
And most people are going to take this video and they're going to run it as ads. So you're going to put your own money behind it. You're not depending on this influencer to sell a ton of product. So it's better to get someone with way less of a following who's pretty good on camera, like who's really good on camera, but like has super low following because of their niche or because they just suck at social media.
Yeah.
Someone like that make you an ad for like $100 versus going and paying someone thousands of dollars just because they have a sick following. So that's probably stage 2. Stage 3 is like really high production shots, but not like high production concepts. So like you can shoot really badass photos and videos of your product being used in like a kitchen at your house, and you could be the actor. You could have someone else on the team be an actor. You could have your friends be actors. Like that'd be like the next level, which I think is where we spend most of our time making creatives. I even get employees from the office and just say, hey, listen, if you have 30 minutes, come over here, drink this thing, shake this bottle, do this thing over here. And I basically take what we call cut clips. So I just try to shoot as many cut clips as possible of like the product being used in a bunch of different environments and around my target demographic, obviously. And then we scripts. Then we can put those overlays essentially of like B-roll of like different ways that the product's being used, and just put text on the screen saying like whatever the objection is, do you have bloating ? And then I have a bunch of clips of people like holding their stomach after drinking something. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we try to kind of do it that way. And then the last step is a step that I don't think anyone really needs, which is high production stuff. Like when ClickFunnels comes to us and it's like, we want to spend 6 figures of budget to go and make content so we can run millions of dollars of ads. That's just like hiring actors, talent. It's just like such a long process for just one video. And I think we're in a world where quantity is super important.
And so you still think that all types of creatives are still like prevalent and should be tested? Like some people are like, oh, static doesn't work anymore. Oh, UGC doesn't work anymore. You're more on the bandwagon of like everything works if you do it correctly.
Everything works if you do it correctly, 100%. And I think the problem is people don't do any one thing correctly when they're trying to do everything. And so they don't really put any focus on one thing. I have brands that we work with that only use UGC and have scaled to over $1 million a month in revenue at like extremely high profit margins, all from UGC, because their only focus every week, we need 30 new UGCs and we script them. We send them to the people, they film them. We're having different types of people filming them, and we're just testing 30 creatives a week. And we scale pretty quickly there. On the other hand, static images in a lot of our accounts we have are like the best performing ads. Like I'll give you a crazy example, one that's like hopefully breaks kind of some mindset for people. I'm sure you've seen like Amazon automation offers, you know what I'm talking about? Like you can pay. So for everyone listening, like you can pay someone like 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, whatever it is. Everyone sells it for something different. And they basically create an Amazon store for you. They automate it and they split the profits with you. Dude, we have accounts that the number one performing ads are just literally graphics of Amazon automation for done for you, 30 grand. Graphic, no video, nothing. And that's the best performing ad. And people book calls and they actually pay 30 grand just because of that ad. So what makes you think that your $50, your $100 product can't be sold via image in today's world on social media, especially on Black Friday? So I'll give some game real quick of like the best converting stuff we do on Black Friday from a targeting standpoint. Cause I think if you're looking for content, you're probably running ads. So basically what we do, like for this entire week, for example, leading up to Black Friday, we only run video ads, and we run a ton of video ads, like a ton, even if it's just like 10-second ads that we just make, or like if we want to run a photo ad, I'll turn it into a 10-second video just to run it as a video ad. And that's because next week, while everyone's sitting here retargeting website visitors, retargeting purchases, retargeting broad audience, whatever it is, I've created a pool of maybe 1 million people, because I spent so much money, of people who have watched my videos leading up to the sale. People who don't know what my brand is, people who don't know anything. And I'm retargeting all the people who have watched my stuff in the last 10 days. And so when I'm pounding all this Black Friday hype to cold audiences, to warm audiences across the board, I create a retargeting pool inside of Facebook that doesn't miss because it's on Facebook. It's not off platform on a pixel. And basically we send a ton of traffic there. And you see that all these still images now that we're running on Black Friday with a sale, that the sale is live to all the people who have watched all this different content, that converts insanely well. So I think making content's important, not just to convert people right away, but to build that trust with people and to build that re-engagement audience that you have on Facebook to be able to retarget them and make a ton of money out of them from there.
I love that. And a lot of these guys, I know that they do not only Meta ads, but they also do TikTok ads as well. Do you guys have a vast experience in TikTok ads as well?
Yeah, we do. We have a few accounts who are doing over $1 million a month in TikTok revenue, not spend. TikTok's a little bit different than Facebook. You obviously can't run like image-esque ads and actually do well. All our content on TikTok is UGC based content. And quite frankly, here's what we do. We go to all our competitors. We always have a rolling list of all our competitors' ads across the board on Facebook and on other platforms. And we'll take all the UGC that's working for them. We'll literally have actors make us very similar. I'm talking 95% identical versions. And we'll run those as ads on TikTok. And those are our best performing ads on TikTok. The problem with TikTok is the ad fatigue is so high. So on Facebook, I have some ads that have been running for a year and a half. Haven't even turned them off. I don't have a single ad on TikTok that's been running for a year and a half. If anything, weeks max, right? And so we're having to refresh creatives ever so often compared to like any other platform. And that's what I hate about running ads on TikTok. But at the same time, it gives a competitive advantage if you want to get good at that. Other people aren't willing to make that much creative. And right now, pretty much anything on TikTok that's making a ton of money is TikTok shops. So I don't know how familiar you're familiar, Zach?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so for everyone that's not familiar, this was like TikTok's way of competing with Amazon. They're like, let's just create shops on TikTok where people can just transact on TikTok. And now they don't have to go to landing pages and do all these things to all this step to just to buy something, right? And so Meta and Amazon just announced the same exact thing, some game for all you guys, about a week ago, where Meta and Amazon are now linking up. And you're going to be able to shop on Amazon directly from a Facebook ad without going to Amazon. So you'll be able to buy it on Facebook, just like you would like with a Facebook lead form. You'd be doing the same exact thing and transacting right there and getting 2-day prime shipping from an Amazon warehouse from your account to your house, address, everything crazy. Already inputted. So it's about to be
TikTok,
crazy.
Man. I thought they had something.
Dude, I mean, you knew it was coming, right? It's like Facebook's
I thought
like,
they had something.
why are we going to build something if we could just pair up with Amazon and just destroy everyone? So that's the game plan there. And I think that's going to be absolutely huge. We're all in on those as a company. You'll start even seeing ads from us about that stuff. So super high on that.
All right, well, let's get to Eric's question. Let's get to the audience question. Eric's question is, what's the best budget-friendly way to make great creatives?
Dope. So there's a guy named Ian Stanley. Love this guy. He's freaking hilarious. One of like OG copywriters. Not that OG, really. He's barely older than us. But he does a great job like being super polarizing. And he has a formula here if you guys kind of want to write this down. Number one is to jar the viewer out of their current state. So like do something shocking, do something like super polarizing, just be opposite of what they're used to. That's number one. Number two, get them to pay attention because of that, right? Number three is, I know you're writing this down, Zach. I'm sorry, I'm moving quick. Build curiosity. Number three. Number four, open a loop, meaning if I'm running a 2-minute ad, I'm going to tell them about something that's going to happen. And then I'm not going to talk about that thing again and have them hold their attention until I close that loop at the end of the video. And number five is get them to keep watching the video, right? By doing all that. So can I share an example? Is it cool if I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to show a super cheap ad that made millions and millions of dollars at a huge ROI. And let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Cool. I'm going to play this real quick, and I think you guys will get an idea why this made so much money.
I'm Ian, and I'm about to drink toilet water. Let's go.
So as you can tell, this is filmed on a really shitty iPhone. No budget. Public bathroom. But the concept is so polarizing. You're like, is this dude actually about to drink toilet
There's actually
water?
A guy in there.
There's actually a guy in. This is all real. It's crazy. I thought it was fake at first.
I realize that's a perfectly good one there, but that's no fun. Oh. Yeah.
That's a rank toilet too.
And it's 1:15, which means everybody just got back from lunch. So probably not the best time to do this, but let's make it happen.
Okay, cool. So basically, he's got us hooked, right? Then here's the concept. It's pretty cool. So he goes through, and then he actually is selling a water purifier. So he pulls the water purifier out, and he purifies the water.
Trusty.
The water purifies.
Moments of truth.
And then he goes and pours it into a glass and drinks it, and then finishes the entire thing.
I wouldn't try.
And then he pitches at the end. He says, really, the reason I'm confident in drinking this is because this filter takes out 99.9% of bacteria, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? This was filmed on a phone. Super easy. Everyone in here can do this. And this was the best performing ad of that company's that water purifier's history. It made them millions and millions and millions of dollars at an insane return on ad spend. Crazy. And it's all because he had us hooked. It's like that jackass style at the beginning. You're like, is this dude actually going to drink the water? And he never broke the cut, right? It was just one big cut, so you couldn't say it was lying. So yeah, I think this is like a really easy way for you to just like make super cheap content and make millions of dollars because of it. And in today's world on social media, everything is so brushed, everything is so professionally done, that when you do something like this, it stands out and people actually want to watch what it is that's happening because they feel like it's something that just came from like a video library on a phone. And when it comes from a video library on a phone, that's I think when it makes the most money.
Yeah, they don't feel like they're being sold to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give another example of an ad we did, super short. We're selling a supplement that's like 20 supplements in one, right? It's like just take one scoop and you got all these supplements. So like a really easy ad concept, no budget whatsoever. It's someone holding 20 pills in their hand and saying, I'm going to try to swallow all 20 of these pills at the same time. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? It's like an exuberant amount of pills and this person's trying to swallow it and then they spew it all out. And it's like, you don't need to do that. You could just use this one supplement that has all these in it. Example, right? That could be filmed on an iPhone in a bedroom, super natural. And most of us here would watch it just to see this guy choke on 20 pills.
Oh, for sure.
And so being super clever about concepts like that is a super cheap way for you to make some banger creatives.
All right, we have a good question here from Jose Pablo. He is asking, how do you approach creative testing?
Yeah, so I wish I could share like my sheet of how we structure our campaigns. But from a creatives testing standpoint, this is basically what we do. We create a sandbox campaign is what we call it. So we create one campaign that's broad, and then we basically dynamically test all the creatives at once. So if I have 30 creatives, I'll create 3 audiences because you max out at 10, make 10, 10, 10, and I'll put all 30 creatives in there. And I'll let the spend run equally essentially to all these creatives. As Facebook decides which ones are working the best and I see the highest ROI, I'll take those creatives out and I'll put them in my main audiences to my lookalikes and things like that. I think the mistake that most people make is they test their creatives to lookalike audiences right out the gate. And that's cool. And you can definitely make a lot of money, but that's only so scalable compared to like a broad targeting. And so I would rather know what works to the broad market so that I can continuously scale my ads versus just testing what's going to work for my lookalike audiences and things like that. So in essence, long story short, you put all the creatives in testing campaigns, you figure out which ones are working the best. You pull those out of the testing campaigns and you put them in scaling campaigns where you're actually targeting your demographic that you want to target. And that's where you're putting most of the ads testing behind.
I love that. And just so you guys have some context, Eddie just doesn't do just creatives for e-com brands. You also do a lot of stuff for lead gen, right?
Yep.
Are there any people that you can mention that you've worked with in the lead gen space and like how much you've done in that space for ads?
I mean, we still spend millions a month, but we don't focus that much on lead gen. I'll tell you, like I have a personal injury attorney who's a close friend of mine in Atlanta. We spend $500,000 a month on lead gen ads, all on Facebook and Instagram. So we still spend some pretty good money. We have an insurance company right now we're spending $20,000 a day for, just for insurance leads. That'll end at the end of the year because they kind of stop spending money. But yeah, we do e-com and we do coaching. We do lead gen. For the most lead gen effort for me personally though goes into my own business, right? So like, for example, 2 days ago, I spent 3 hours in a conference room with a whiteboard brainstorming all the cool creative concepts that we can make for bad marketing. So like what kind of ads do we want to run as an agency to get clients? And I think a lot of people try to do this as an agency to get clients, but they don't get clients because they don't actually put enough effort into their ads. Whereas I'm sitting here as a CEO of a company spending 3 hours on top of other meetings before that to sit here and brainstorm all the concepts to then shoot them later on. So like I have a concept where I'm faking something as a doctor and there's like a whole ambulance scene and I'm like trying to coordinate this entire thing. There's a concept that we have to rent out a bar to do. Like I'm going so far out of my way to make those concepts. And I think in e-com, they're not as valuable, but in lead gen, it's way more worth the effort. I can make one good ad in lead gen and I can run that ad for 2-3 years at a time and never, I mean, dude, I've been running one of the same ads since 2020 in my agency and it still gets us clients. I got ClickFunnels as a client from that ad running on YouTube.
Crazy.
And so I would put a lot more effort to lead gen ads versus e-com. Like there's just so much that's happening and so much competition that quantity is more important. Whereas I feel like for lead gen, you make one really good ad and that could change your entire company. All you need is one really good ad.
That's true. I don't know. You guys might know who Travis Chambers is of Chamber Media, but he has one ad that he's been running, I think, for like 10 years maybe. And it just and even after he sold his agency, the company still runs that same exact ad with him in it because it just has worked forever.
And they just put effort one time. It's a lot of effort, but it's one time.
Yeah.
And then that ad scales.
Absolutely. And then this one's more about hiring and team building. So he's starting out with providing lead gen for solar and construction, currently at a one-man team or one-man army, and would love to put a team together. What advice can you give me about putting together a good team?
Okay, so 2 things. One, when you hire a team, you want to hire for your weaknesses, Miguel. So if you're really good at ads and you're not good at sales, then you should hire someone who's good at sales. If you are really good at sales and you're not good at ads, you should hire someone who's good at ads. And I'll give you this scenario too, for Miguel. You know, you're a one-man army doing this right now and you're getting results, you're doing whatever you can. There's a lot of other one-man armies out there. I would highly recommend going and just partnering with one of these one-man armies because both of you are already used to being one-man armies. So when you're used to being one-man armies, you can do so much more. So when someone comes and takes half your workload off your plate, you can do twice as much in one area of your business because you have so much more free time and you're used to being a one-man army versus you going and hiring a VA or an employee. You know, they're only going to work in their job and you're going to have to be able to tell them exactly what to do at all times. Whereas if you go and partner up with someone who's already a one-man army, then they will have the same work ethic that you have and they will be able to provide as much value as you're providing without you having to hold their hand the entire time. And so if you're still beginning and you're a one-man army, I would go find your weaknesses, put them on a sheet of paper, figure out where you're strong and where you're weak, and go take those weaknesses and go to somewhere else and try to find someone who has your weaknesses as their strengths and vice versa so that you can fill in and you guys can partner up and become a 2-man army that feels like a 10-man army. You know, I'd rather have a Navy SEAL team running in to take down an operation than just 100 random ass soldiers at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you partner up with people who are like you, who have the same weaknesses as you, that you vibe with, that you feel like you get along with, in the end of the day, if there's a bunch of Joe Schmoes exactly like you, like 10 of 10 exactly like you guys are all going to have the same weaknesses and you're all going to fail at the same things. So you're never going to be able to move forward with that. Now going in more into the brand side of things, Love Changes asks, as starting a brand one-man show, what would be your main focus in creative production towards building an organic brand to last for the future?
I would get I don't know what Love Changes is about. Let me look it up real quick. Love Changes. Hopefully that's the name of the brand.
Maybe. It's very possible. It's also not possible.
Yeah, I can't find it. But basically what I would do on social media is I would be very, very polarizing and create some sort of one piece of content that you can rinse and repeat over and over again.
They just commented end child abuse.
Oh, okay. That's a tough one. So that's a tough one because you can't really run ads much about that. It's kind of a sensitive topic. So what I would do on the social media side is I would run some sort of polarizing content. Like if you think about Geico commercials as an example, Geico does a really good job like polarizing you in some sort of scenario and then relating it to Geico. And I think if you thought of something just as creative, and you can take Geico's concepts, ChatGPT them, run them in different scenarios and kind of get a good idea for yourself. But if you can create concepts on social media where it's something that's like super polarizing and like put someone in shock, and then at the end you tie it to child abuse and like some sort of relationship from a feeling of someone watching your video to that, then you can tie that into those things, and then you can engage that emotion of someone, because someone's going to buy when they feel that emotion towards the child abuse and ending it right with you. So you need to make them feel that same emotion with some other concept or skit or video that you're resharing from someone else that has nothing to do with child abuse, and then ending it with like something tying back to the feeling of child abuse, or sitting on the sidelines without helping for child abuse, whatever the case is. And then you need to build that kind of like guilt feeling inside of them that gets them to come back and buy. So I think what I would do is just find really polarizing content that already exists on social media and just find ways to recreate it or repost it, and then have some sort of CTA at the end. And over time, those videos will get shared, they'll get saved, they'll get comments. And then as you keep that up and you create frequency of like 3 to 4 times a day doing this, there's no way that you won't start picking up some traction and getting some attention. And people start knowing, when they start seeing things, they'll start knowing that these are the child abuse videos.
Yeah. It's like those, I don't know if you guys ever watched late night TV and you had those commercials with like the dog pounds where it had that song with like "In the Arms of the Angels."
I know exactly what song.
And it's just like the sad dogs on the screen, but it's all about like euthanizing dogs, which is like killing dogs because no one wants to adopt them. But it's the same thing. All they do is just like show sad dogs, a bunch of sad dogs in cages or a bunch of sad dogs in general. And then they just have text over the screen of like, so and so amount of dogs are euthanized every year. This so and so dogs never get adopted and stuff like that. But then when everyone sees those videos of like sad dogs, they're like, it's about killing dogs, you know?
100%.
I'm gonna have you try and say this name. I'm not gonna say it, but do you have a specific type of ads?
I know this guy, Mortada. What's up, buddy?
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Specific type of ads for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, or just test everything everywhere.
Yeah. So here's how I like to look at it. Okay. For those of you guys that don't know, top of the funnel is like cold, middle of the funnel is like slightly warm audience, and then bottom of the funnel is like people who like really know you. They probably bought from you before. They've been to the checkout page. Like they've gone pretty far in your process. And so here's how I like to think about it. It's like if there's like levels of awareness, right? So there's like problem aware, okay, which is like someone knows about the problem that your product solves. There's solution aware, someone's aware that there is a solution to solve the problem that you're solving. And then there's like product aware, which is like someone knows that you have the product to solve that solution. And so how I look at top of funnel is I'm talking to people who are like either problem unaware or problem aware, but they're totally solution unaware, which means they don't know that they need a solution to whatever problem it is. And so most of my top of funnel ads are focused on the problem. So if I have a supplement that stops people from bloating after they eat, example, then all my ads are going to be around like, are you always feeling bloated? Like, do you hate the feeling of bloating? Is bloating keeping you down? Like, all my problems are at the top of the funnel, right? When people watch a certain percentage of that ad, even if they don't click, that usually tells me that they have that problem. And so my middle of funnel is focused on ads, basically directly calling out the solution to the problem that I talked in the top of funnel. So top of funnel is problem based. Middle of funnel is very solution based. And then bottom of funnel is very product based. So like top, I'm only talking about the problems that they have. The middle, I'm talking about that there is a solution to the problems that they have. And then the bottom, I'm basically talking about my product and my solution and why my solution is better and how other people have used my solution to fix that problem. And so it's a very easy way to structure. It's just problem at the top, then solution. Then at the bottom, you talk about product. And I think that's probably the best way to differentiate top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom funnel. Don't overthink like, is it an image? Is it a UGC ad? It's about what are we talking about? And that's really the emotion that's going to drive people to buy.
And how does that differ with lead gen? Because I mean, generally lead gen has a lower budget as well too. So you make it as polarized as you do for ecom?
Dude, I try to be as polarizing everywhere I can be. The more polarizing you are, the more results your ads are going to generate. I don't care what industry you're in. And if you think about it this way, like if you just do the opposite of what someone's going to expect, like watch something or script something and then be like, what is someone going to expect? And then just do the exact polar opposite of what they're expecting. And every time you will have a top performing ad because no one will expect whatever that thing is that you said. And because you're blindsiding them, now they're hooked to watch what other blindsides or what other things are going to be surprises throughout the rest of the video. Humans like to be surprised. They like to be shocked. And in today's world where we consume hundreds of pieces of content a day, even me, CEO, like of a company, I still watch hundreds of pieces of content a day in perspective by the time I scroll through social media and everything. And I will stop when something's like, whoa, what is that? And then I'll scroll back to it or I'll stop on it. And so whether you're in ecom, whether you're in lead gen, that's the game you need to be playing.
And then EJ has more of a question about local lead gen or ad pay. I'll just read it. Hey, Eddie, at what point should you start paid ads for your own local lead gen agency? And what systems should you have in place before starting?
Look, here's how I look at it. I start paid ads like day one. I don't even mess around. So I was talking to someone yesterday about this. So it's funny. When I first started, I had like monetary goals. Like I want to make $10,000 a month, right? And I would go to events and stuff like that, and I'd be like, "Wow, I need to make $10,000 a month. Or I need to make 20,000. Or I need to make 40,000. Whatever." The goal kept changing, right? Now the goal is like I need to make 10 million a month, right? So it's like the goals are always going to change. That being said, one day I attended a conference, and this person was talking about how they make $1 million a month. And the whole presentation was how they run ads to a certain funnel, and that because they run that much ads, they make $1 million a month. And when I left, my perspective changed. I started thinking to myself, instead of thinking about how much money I need to make, I need to start thinking about how much money I need to afford to spend. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a little bit different in mentality. And so I left there at the time, not spending money on ads. And I was like, I need to be able to profitably spend $3,000 on ads per month, because that'll get me to the business that I want to get to at the time. Right now we spend, like, for ourselves, we probably spend 50, 60 grand a month on ads for our own business, probably more than that some months. But my goal was to spend more money. And so now, even when I go to launch a new niche in the local agency, we still do it every few months. I'll go and I'll be like, the only companies I want to work with is companies that I know I can target on ads, because I don't have to depend on cold calling, cold emailing, all these other strategies that work or don't work. I know at the worst case, I can always target these people on ads. And if I can't scale an audience on ads, I don't even want to open that niche, because ads is going to be the fastest way for me to go from 0 to a 6-figure month. It's not going to be all these other methods, because I'm still depending on human error. I'm still depending on someone responding wrong to an email or cold calling someone and not saying the right thing. Whereas with an ad, if I can make one really banging ad and I can run it to that audience, I know 100% I can target them with a really good offer. I'm going to close people even with a subpar mid sales team. So, and that's how we're able to just, like, if I wanted to right now and I took a niche that I could target with ads, I guarantee that in 60 days, we would be doing 100 grand a month, guaranteed. No questions asked. And that's all because of ads. So I would test ads sooner than later. And if you feel like your audience is not one that you can target with ads because they're not available to target with ads, or you can't find a list of people to target with ads, whatever it is, I would try to find a different audience to go into.
And then Britt is asking tips for copywriting scripts.
Just the ones that I was kind of giving before, I think is probably the best. The jar the viewer out of their current state, get them to pay attention, build curiosity, open a loop, and then get them to watch the video. I wouldn't like, if you want to think about a script, strong hook, number one. I'm not going to tell you exactly what words to say. I don't even know what your product is, to be honest. But strong hook right out the gate. You need to say something that's polarizing, say something that gets their attention. For example, we have a brand that sells like a supplement that replaces like the same value you would get from eating organ meats. Okay. Super crazy. And so what do you think our hook is? It's a girl literally holding gross raw meat in her hands. And like, she's literally holding organs, like actual organs, and like about to puke on camera. And that's our hook. And it's a great fucking ad because you watch it like, what the fuck is going on here? Whereas most people are going to be like, this pill replaces the supplements that you could be getting from eating organs. Organs are the most valuable things. You know what I mean? Like, that's where most people are going to go. Whereas we're like, dude, how can we just get them to stop scrolling for a second and holding like a freaking live heart? You know what I mean? It's probably a good way to get someone to stop scrolling. So I would recommend always just being super polarizing. And then you can talk problem solution, open the loop, and then at the end, close the loop, and then give them a call to action. If you just follow that same framework and you just make tons of versions on it, and this is cool. In today's world, you guys have AI. Like, you can take that, type it in AI, say, I want all these ads to follow this framework. Here's the product that I sell. Give me 20 hooks that are like polarizing, funny, engaging, blah, 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 blah. And it'll give you versions, and you can easily script your own stuff. That's absolutely gobsmacking is the word we like to use. And you can absolutely crush because of it.
I love that. That's hilarious. Going back to local business, Jeremy Lane has a question. He said, what are your thoughts for creatives for local businesses and best practice for Facebook, TikTok ads for local service-based businesses?
Okay, 1 second. What are your thoughts for creatives for local businesses and best practices for Facebook, TikTok? Again, here's the thing, Jeremy. I assume you're an agency advertising to local businesses. Here's the cool part. Like I said, you can put a lot more effort into the ads. And from a best practices standpoint, I target broad for pretty much all local businesses. I'm targeting super broad targeting and really targeted ad copy and ad concepts. And the cool part with local business, I'll give you an example. So we have like an automotive local business side of our company. Let's say we have 100 shops. Okay. I can go to one shop and I can film 20 ads at that one shop location. And I can run those ads for every single shop in the entire country, because my dude in Atlanta isn't competing with my dude in Boston. And so I can run the same ad that I shot here in Atlanta, here and Boston and New York and in 100 other places at the same time, and get an ROI across the board in 100 different places. Whereas in ecom, I can't go like make an ad for like a facial cleanser and then use that ad for someone who's selling a protein for a pre-work or protein for a post-workout. You know what I mean? So in local, you have the advantage of putting in more effort into less ads and really make them well thought out and scaling them that way. And I go broad targeting across the board. I go broad, and based on if income is needed, I go broad income demographic with zip codes. So I'll go like men 25 to 45 in the top 25% of zip codes in America. And then I let it rip as an example, right? It depends what areas you're targeting. Obviously, if you're local business, you're targeting specific cities. But I would be putting a lot more effort into my local ads. And same for us, right? When I'm targeting ecom stores, I don't need to talk to every ecom store differently. I can talk to them all the same. So when I'm making ads for bad marketing to target ecom stores, I'm literally, like I said, spending hours planning and then days shooting. Like, we're literally trying to rent out an entire like ER room so that I can film an ad of me pretending to be like a surgeon doing something. You know what I mean? So like, you want to go the extra mile because those ads will last you forever and you can copy paste them all over the place. Whereas with ecom, you have to reshoot for every brand. It's kind of exhausting.
And then Sub-Zero asked a question. I'm pretty sure you already answered the second one, but he was talking more about placements on Facebook. Do you use all placements on Facebook or just Facebook and Insta?
Yeah, everyone on my team has a different opinion. So a lot of people use Advantage Plus now, which basically picks kind of all your placements across the board. I personally, like, for example, when I'm running our own ads, I don't use Advantage Plus. I'm very methodical with why I'm placing certain ads where they are. So I'll run a campaign or an ad set just for stories and reels since they're vertical content. And then I'll run a different one for feeds and video feed placements and news feed placements and side feed placements, right? So like, I'm running two different placement sets because I know you guys know what I'm talking about. You get an ad on a story and it's definitely not for a story, or you get an ad on a reel or a feed and it's definitely not, and it's like cropped and like the top and the bottom is missing when it's in a feed, or it's in a story and it's supposed to be, it's a square ad and it looks just so fucking ugly in the story. And so that's Facebook picking where you go with your placements. Whereas I know they're doing what's best for you, but in reality, Facebook is doing what's best for them, right? It's what makes them the most money and what gets you to spend the most money in areas that people aren't going to spend money. But if you think about where you're spending your time, it's on stories and it's on reels in your feed. Those are the 3 areas you're spending the most time in, which means qualified people are spending their most time in those areas as well. I don't want all these display network and shit that Facebook's going to run. I just want to target people where I want them to see it, where their most attention is. It's going to cost me more money, but it's going to be much more targeted and feel like much better advertising.
A question from Jay here. In a competitive field like e-com marketing, how can individuals build strong personal brand within their niche? And are there specific strategies that you find effective?
How can individuals build a strong personal brand within their niche? I mean, just start talking about stuff that's in your niche. I feel like is a pretty good way to do it. Like if you're in skincare, then like I would build all your videos around skincare. Like if you think about like Fashion Nova, who's the number 1 brand in all of e-com right now for Shopify, right? Dude, I mean, I can't disclose their numbers, but let's just say I've seen their dashboard and they're doing 7 figures before you guys even wake up every single day, on a regular day, no sale. And the reason they did that was because they got all the people that were huge in clothing and apparel reviews, all these things on YouTube and Instagram, and they just got them all to represent Fashion Nova, right? And so if you really want to become the face or authority in that place, there's 2 ways to do it. Number 1, you need to create a lot more content around your space. You need to be very polarizing. Easiest way to make content in a space that already exists is to take other videos that are already doing well and going viral and reviewing them. Okay. So take someone who's talking about a makeup routine. If you're selling makeup and that video went viral, you put that video where you're doing a review on that video, you're stitching them together. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And you can literally talk about that video and talk about, call her out for being wrong about something, agree with something that she said, whatever it is. And all of a sudden now you can basically become more focused on that. If you're talking about in the agency side, Jay, I just saw your comment. If you're talking about the agency side, it's the same thing, bro. Make more content around the stuff you're talking about. So if you're targeting chiropractors, you need to make more content to help chiropractors with their business. So if, for example, I'm in e-com, my content primarily is how to scale e-com stuff. It's all content around e-com stuff. People visit my page. They get videos shared to them because they're in the e-com space. And then I talked about something on Amazon and then they want to get into Amazon. Their friend shared it with them. And that is how you do it. So just talk about the area that you're trying to attack. If you're attacking a certain niche, all your content needs to be not around the customers of that niche, but the business owners of that niche. What can you say that will help them? Because you don't need 1 million views. You just need like 1,000 really good views. If you can get 1,000 people who are actually in your target audience watching your stuff all the time as an agency, you'll be a millionaire. You don't need 1 million views. Like my brother, he gets millions of views on YouTube, but like they're all like just regular people who are watching his YouTube. They're not the niche that he wants. I would rather get 10,000 videos, 10,000 views on one of my videos that are all e-com stores and agency owners instead of getting 1 million views of just like everyone from all around the world. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality at the end of the day.
100%. Excuse me. I wanted to dive into this drop shipping question real quick since we haven't had a ton of that. Quiz Siffy is asking, so is it better to do meta ads for drop shipping than TikTok ads?
It's not one or the other. You guys need to understand that. Okay. It depends on the product. So I have a perfume brand we work with. Okay. They were not able to scale TikTok. Okay. Basically what they sell is they sell perfume samples. So like instead of buying a big bottle, you can buy like a little travel set that lasts like 30 days and you can buy it for a discounted price instead of paying hundreds of bucks for like an expensive bottle. We couldn't scale their TikTok to save our life, right? Their average order value was too high. Their process was too complicated. TikTok is dumb. It's quick. It's easy. It's cheap. It's dumb, right? So we need to find a way to sell something for like 29 bucks or less. That was super valuable, right? So basically what we did was we turned it into like a mix and match thing where you can kind of pick like what you want to smell like. And then in seconds, it automatically puts together like a category of 3 samples for 29 bucks. And then you can buy it and ship it to your house. All of a sudden now we're doing over $1 million a month on this product because we made it cheap and we made it easy for TikTok, right? Facebook, you're going to pay more per click. So you're going to have a higher average order value for Facebook at the end of the day than TikTok, right? Whereas TikTok, you can afford a lower AOV and that's where people are going to spend more money. So it's not one or the other. It depends what kind of product you have at the end of the day. Facebook organics kind of shot. So you're definitely going to be depending on ads. Whereas TikTok, you can get a pretty big lift from people who are still getting a lot of viewership on TikTok to push towards your product, as long as it's cheap. You're not going to go to TikTok and sell a $3,000 reclining chair. You know what I mean? But I can still do that on Facebook ads today, or Google ads, etc. So it's not one or the other. It's what is your product, and based on where the product is, if it's super cheap and super trendy, TikTok's probably going to smash. If it's going to be a little bit more expensive, needs more qualified people with more attention to read and understand the product before they buy, you're going to want to go on Google, Facebook, or YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, if you guys still have some more questions, keep popping those in. If you're still with us, let's see a steak or a 1 in the chat, just so that we see that you guys are still tracking with us.
Love
that everything's making sense.
Make those steaks rare.
Make them rain. We want to see some raining steaks in here, just so you guys are still with us, still paying attention, still valuable to you. There we go. Some 1s, some steaks. I like it. Keep bringing in those questions. I'm reading through them. Don't worry. Just want to make sure that we're getting a wide variety of things, so we can cover a wide variety of topics. So we talked a little bit about the order of creatives, of where you would start depending on your budget. But say someone is starting out from like absolutely zero, like Abakar here is asking. So for people who are starting out in ecom, what is your number 1 advice for ad creatives and what to start out with?
So easiest thing to do is UGC. Have people who are in your target demographic film videos that use script. Again, problem solution, right? So like, example, I have a supplement here on that helps me with my energy. Okay. So I take the supplement here, helps me with my energy. Okay. And I'm selling to older white women. Okay. That's who needs to buy this. I am not going to do the ad myself. Okay. I'm going to go find an older white woman in my demographic to do the ad and have her hold up the product in a selfie video. Hey, ladies, just want to let you know, like, if you've ever felt tired throughout the day, if you ever feel like your energy is kind of not coming back and it's going away with age and you just can't get it back. I felt the same way. I was having trouble for years. I couldn't even have the energy to like go to work sometimes or go work out or stay in shape. Finally, I found this thing right here, and this thing helps me with all my energy. And because of this thing, now I can finally work out. I can finally go. I'm motivated all day when I wake up. I can wake up on time. I'm just better rested and blah, 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 blah. Right. So like that is ad super simple, like super simple framework. And at the end of the day, like this, as long as it's an old white woman, because that's who I'm selling to, that is going to work for you. Right. And that costs you nothing to do. And most of us have friends in the target demographics that we're working on, right? So like I have fuck my mom, you know what I mean? Like I'll just go ask my mom, film this thing for me. Here's what I need you to say. And then boom, I have an ad. So don't overthink it, man. When you're starting, you got to get scrappy, dude. All my ads when I was drop shipping, when I was like starting on my own without like a huge team and shit, all of them were filmed in my parents' house in their backyard on an iPhone. Every single one of them, like every single. I mean, dude, I had a company for colored AirPods, and we were doing hundreds of thousands a month before Apple shut our ass down. And my ads were just like, okay, who am I selling to? I'm selling to guys and girls who are young. Let me just get a really hot girl, have her wear super short shorts and a super tight top, and put these AirPods in and walk around and do different shit with the AirPods. And I film it all on the iPhone, and then boom, all of a sudden, that ad was literally printing millions of dollars for us, that one single ad, because I did that. So don't overthink it. All of this can be done on an iPhone as long as you actually are focusing on what the target demographic is that you're talking to and what are the main problems that you're solving.
Yeah, don't overthink it, but also put in the work. A lot of you guys are real lazy and you're just looking for shortcuts and stuff. Like, get creative, think about it, but then actually like go out and do it. And don't just record one version, record like 10 and test them all, you know?
Yeah. Bosch has a good question. Can we answer that one? 1:48 p.m. How can you make polarizing content while also having professional, competent feel to your personal brand? For example, my audience is dentists, cosmetic surgeons. Dude, super easy. Go to a dentist office, right? Get in the dentist chair as if you're actually a patient. Put the thing on your neck, right? Have the thing on your mouth and start the ad literally of you trying to talk to the dentist that you're trying to talk to in a dentist chair. So you're now in his environment, right? Because you're in his environment, he, as a dentist, you don't need to say anything except they see, oh, dental chair, right? Oh, teeth, oh, dental chair. And so automatically you're polarizing because it's like whatever you're doing on camera is in their environment. And because you're in their environment, they already know what it is. You don't need to write dentist on your ad or any of that stuff, right? You just say, want more patients, question mark. And they already know you're a dentist. Like you're talking to dentists because that's the environment you're in. So film a ton of ads of like you in a dental outfit in a dentist office, like making different ads and different concepts. And that is all you need to do to be out of the box. Like you're lucky you're in the dentist space. You can do so many things around people's mouth, around teeth, starting in their mouth and zooming the camera out to even start the video. Like there's so much that you can do. Like I told someone to film a dentist ad where they're literally, their mouth is held open by the dentist things and they're trying to talk the entire time. And instead of them talking and like not being able to understand, you have the captions that are translating everything. And hey, dentist, are you trying to get a haircut? Like even that is like such a polarizing concept as a dentist. You're like, what the fuck is going on? But because I'm a dentist, I know he's in a dental chair and I know it's something to do with his teeth. And so I'm just interested because of that. And so if no one else watches, perfect. As long as a dentist is watching it, you can get so creative and do stuff like that, dude. At the end of the day, you got to understand, if you're an agency, you're a marketing company, right? People like it when you're ballsy. People like it when you're bold. They're not going to be like, oh, this is unprofessional. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like they want that. Think about my company name, dude. We're bad marketing. It's like literally the worst fucking name possible. But because of that, it's the best name possible. And so if someone wants to work with a marketing company, they probably want to work with bad marketing, someone who's so ballsy to do that. And if they don't, perfect. That's not who I fucking want to work with. But I want to work with the liquid deaths of the world. You know what I mean? The people who are changing the world, who are polarizing. And so that's who I want to work with. Not every dentist, bro. Dentists are old white people who know nothing about marketing. Not everyone is going to love you, but all you need is a small 10% of them to love you because you're so polarizing. And those are the ones you want to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we'll do a few more questions just so that, because we're coming up to that hour mark. There's a question from your channel, Eddie. We'll just review it since it's from yours. And it says, off topic, how do you set up rev share relationships with info/coaching clients? What guarantee do you have that they'll pay? I've had issues in the past with clients not paying their rev share.
Yeah, so most business owners who are smart are cool with not rev share, profit share. Okay. So here's how I set up my agreements. I say, listen, if you're a business owner, you're making 100K a month in profit right now. That's the baseline. So I don't want anything from that. I just want a piece of what I bring in more than that. So if we go to 200K a month profit, now there's 100K a month more profit that I brought in. That's what I want a piece of. Okay. So that's number one. It's a very easy way to convince them when you set a baseline. When you say, hey, listen, I just want to get paid everything over what you're already making. The problem is people come in and they're like, I want percent profit or percent rev of the entire company. And it's like, okay, dude, like we already have an established company. Like you're not going to come in and just ask for that. So that's number one. Number two, if you want to avoid them having to like not pay you and being in that situation, there's two things you can do. One, what I do is I charge a retainer monthly and I say, listen, if what I have to bill you is more than the retainer at the end of the month, then I'll just bill you the difference. If it's less, I'll refund you the difference. So for example, I'll charge you a 15K a month retainer. And if my bonus at the end of the month is 18K, I'm going to charge you 3K more, right? At the end of the month, because you already paid me 15. But if it's 10 because we didn't do a good job, then I'll just refund you 5. And so it puts the power in your shoes rather than the client's shoes. And this is a way that you forward protect yourself. And the easiest way to justify it is like, listen, I have payroll. I'm paying all these guys regardless. And so I need to make sure this is secured. And that's the situation. Obviously, you need good contracts in place, et cetera, stuff like that. But that is kind of how I would be thinking if I was you, trying to protect yourself in that sense. Hopefully that helps.
Do you have a list of kind of like some psychological triggers that you tend to use for creatives when you're either for lead gen or for ecom? I know that you guys use humor a lot.
Yeah, here's how I look at it. If you were in a conversation with your friends, and look, if you're, those times you're in a conversation with your friends and someone says some shit and you're like, what What did you like? Hold up. We're not just gonna breeze past that, bro. What did you just say? You know what I mean? That trigger of like shock is what you want to elicit out of everyone. And so whether it's like based on your product, that's what's going to decide that. So if your product is based around a health condition, I want to elicit fear. You know what I mean? I want to elicit them understanding how dangerous it is if they don't solve this health condition, right? Fear of loss, example. If I'm selling a weight loss product, I want to elicit the feeling of confidence so that they can feel what it feels like to be confident so that they can take my product to get to that goal that they want to get to. So there's no set answer, but the answer is, what is the problem that your product is solving? And that problem that they're solving, what are the emotions that problem creates for them? Fear, lack of confidence, whatever it is. And then I'm trying to create all the psychological triggers around what are those things around that product that exist, so that I can basically create a bunch of hooks or different things that shock people so that they can start thinking that way.
I love that. And then one of the questions that just popped up that I thought was actually a particularly good one is, how do you measure the success of a particular creative campaign?
Yeah. So this is the last one, right? Because I got to go and I got another
last
call.
one.
Perfect. So basically, here's how I look at creative campaigns, guys. Number one is obviously conversions, right? Like how many conversions are we getting? What is the price per conversion, etc. So that's number one. Okay. If that is good, then I don't really care about what the rest looks like. But let's say that's not good, right? And we're trying to crack what this product is. First thing I'm going to look through is click-through rates. How many people are actually clicking on the product or are clicking on the video, right, to get to the page? That's going to give me an idea of like how interested people are. Number two is like watch percentage. What percentage of this video on average are people watching? Is it high? Is it low? Where is the average? And what can I do at that point or before in the video to get more people to watch? Like, what can I change in the video to do so? And then there's one I call a thumb stop ratio, which is basically like the percentage of 5-second views compared to the amount of impressions that a video has. So if I have 1,000 impressions and only 100 people have a 5-second view, I have a 10% scroll stop ratio or thumb stop ratio, whatever you want to call it. This tells me how good the actual ad itself is and how much attention I'm grabbing from the ad itself. And so those are probably the best key indicators: click-through rate, watch-through rate, and also like thumb stop ratio or scroll stop ratio, whatever you want to call it.
I love that. All right, Eddie. So for people that want more of the value that you provide, because obviously you do a ton of stuff on e-com, but also for agencies as well, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me on oh, did my video freeze? Oh,
Yeah,
I
you're
think it
frozen a
did.
little bit.
No, it's all good. I think it's because the other call started. But they can find me on Instagram at Eddie Maalouf. You can also find me on YouTube at Eddie Maalouf, but my handle is EDDIEMAALOUF. Follow me there. Ask me any questions you guys want in the chat on Instagram. I actually manage my entire Instagram, and that is the best place to reach me. Sorry, my video froze, but I'm glad you guys showed up. I'm glad you guys were engaged. If this was fire, repost a photo of us, me and Zach, on your Instagram. That'll tell me how many people actually enjoyed this. And then based on you actually enjoying it, we will decide if we're going to do another one again.
Do you have any resources for agency owners or e-com brands?
Best resources off the top of my head would probably be my YouTube channel is probably a super fire one. Zach's YouTube channel, super fire one as well. I think between both of those, you should have plenty of knowledge to be able to get the things that you want to do done.
Yeah. And then you also have an event for agency owners as well, correct?
Yes, sir. Agency owners. We got agency founders in January. Super excited for that. We got literally 150 to 200 agency owners flying in from all over the world. We already got people from like 15 different countries booking tickets. So super excited to see you guys there. If you want any details, link is in my bio on Instagram.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time, Eddie. Appreciate you.
Guys, take care. Peace.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for coming out today. Eddie is a wealth of knowledge. We will, of course, have him again. But like he said, post a photo of us in your stories. Let us know that you liked it. We'll repost you, just so that we can see that if we provided value for you, we'll continue to bring on guests like Eddie. We'll continue to bring Eddie into it to do more lives. But yeah, like Eddie said, if you're an agency, if you're in ecom, you can find him on socials. He posts a wealth of information there. He has agency founders, an event that he does at the beginning of every single year for high level agency owners. Go out to his Instagram, check that out. And then the agency domain, where we are co-owners of the agency domain. So if you want more personalized coaching, or you want a community that's specific to agency owners, then come hop over there, and we'd love to have you there as well. All of these lives we post there so that you can view the recordings, etc. So thank you guys so much for coming out, and I will see you on the next one. Once again, many of you will watch, but very few of you will actually listen. Bye-bye.